What would you do if one day you woke up and your appearance had completely changed because of an accident or a cruel prescription mishap? Today, we're going to meet unstoppable souls, people who turned crystal prosthetic legs, deep burn scars, or different body shapes into proud statements to take control of their lives. If you also need a little emotional boost to love yourself more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Leave a comment below telling us which story inspired you the most. Let's get started right away. From the time she was just an 8-month-old baby, fate challenged Vita with invisible obstacles that prevented her from growing up normally. Her childhood was marked by endless days in hospitals and the devastating diagnosis of spinal muscular atrophy. The cruel disease gradually weakened her muscles until one day even breathing naturally entirely on machines. The darkness of insecurity once surrounded the young girl, as her condition not only stole her physical strength but also reduced her voice. The greatest irony came when a glimmer of hope appeared in the form of a new treatment, only to reveal a harsh truth: she had never actually suffered from the disease she had been diagnosed with all those years. The uncertainty of an unnamed condition could have broken anyone, but sparked a fierce will to live unlike ever before. She learned to embrace her breathing machine, seeing it as a proud part of herself rather than a medical burden. The wheel of destiny turned a brilliant new page when a photographer inadvertently captured Vita's unique charm. Overcoming all limitations and apprehensive glances, she proudly strode into the world of professional fashion. Now Vita is a shining gem sought after by prestigious modeling agencies, proving that true beauty always shines through courage. In your opinion, does true beauty lie in appearance or unwavering willpower? Leave your thoughts in the comments. In the world of high fashion, Jayza Gary appears as a one-of-a-kind phenomenon, completely redefining beauty standards with her unique skin. The 21-year-old woman from North Carolina lives with lamellar ichthyosis, a rare genetic disorder that causes her skin to continuously peel and renew itself every 10 to 12 days, creating a texture resembling dragon scales. Instead of feeling insecure, Jayza proudly declares, "I am a survivor, not a victim of fate." Jayza's striking presence and unique appearance quickly captivated talent scouts, earning her major advertising contracts with national brands such as Target. The peak of her fame came when she stepped into New York Fashion Week for a photo shoot for British Glamour magazine, a project she personally conceived and produced. Under studio lights, Jayza transformed into a glamorous 1970s muse, turning her distinctive skin into a high art medium. Each of Jayza's images is not merely a fashion piece, but a powerful statement to the entertainment industry about the right of diversity to shine. She does not appear to seek validation. She stands there to prove that true beauty comes from a resilient spirit and radiant self-respect. Jayza is taking bold strides, using her very presence to ignite a flame of confidence in young people around the world. Bound to a wheelchair since the age of 3 due to congenital spina bifida carnesia, Patton learned to call this mobility aid both her best friend and her greatest enemy. The severe condition left her completely paralyzed from the waist down, taking away the legs of an innocent little girl. But instead of accepting a confined life behind closed walls, the girl from Alabama chose to turn her wheelchair into a launch pad for limitless dreams. Karnashia's resilience is proven through a demanding lifestyle that earns admiration from many. She worked hard to complete her Master of Business Administration (MBA), while also working at a salon and maintaining an intense training routine at the gym. Not stopping there, the 28-year-old woman also decided to challenge the fashion industry by confidently stepping onto the runway, turning her wheelchair into part of her performance art at numerous major events. Not keeping the light for herself, Misty used all her passion and skills to become a guiding torch for individuals in similar circumstances. She dedicated her life to proving a powerful truth that all boundaries can be completely broken through the strength of power. A full, limitless life is entirely within reach if we have enough courage to face and overcome adversity. The young man Gabriel once nurtured a burning desire for the perfect physique, spending hours every day in the gym in pursuit of strength and masculinity. But a sudden accident while lifting weights permanently changed the course of his life in an instant. The severe infections that followed cost him his right arm, thrusting the young man into a life-or-death battle on the fragile line between survival and death. The moment he woke up and faced his incomplete reflection in the mirror was an overwhelming shock for someone who had once viewed bodybuilding as his reason for living. The darkness of despair nearly consumed the soul of the 17-year-old boy as he had to relearn even the most basic daily activities with only one arm. But from the very depths of his physical pain, an extraordinary inner strength emerged, allowing... Following her psychologist's advice, Gabby began to open up and use social media as a safe space to write about her thoughts and the hidden struggles of living with a new face. Her courage in facing adversity created a powerful wave of empathy, bringing her countless messages of encouragement and even sincere marriage proposals from people who valued her inner self. Although she still has moments of sadness at times, Gabby is gradually learning to love herself from within, where no scar can ever reach. Born with severe congenital kyphoscoliosis, Becky Dan's childhood was filled with constant pain and struggle. The greatest tragedy struck at the age of 10 when her skeletal structure completely collapsed, forcing the London girl into a wheelchair at a height of just 4 feet, 7 inches. High school became a nightmare as Becky was bullied relentlessly, causing her to hide her curved back behind oversized clothes and long hair. Those emotional wounds left the young girl trapped in insecurity and desperately avoiding every mirror. The turning point came at university, where the art of photography awakened the courage within Becky. Instead of running away, she confronted her fear through the self-portrait project I'm Fine, which honestly revealed her back. Through it, Becky made a powerful statement to the world that she was not fragile, weak, or in need of anyone's pity. This was how she stood up to heal her wounds and redefine her self-worth. The project exploded on social media, giving Becky, at age 27, the confidence to use her voice to empower the disability community. Facing her past, she confidently affirms her love for her current body. This journey has been a powerful inspiration for overcoming adversity. What do you think of Becky's extraordinary resilience? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support us in spreading more meaningful stories. The life of 29-year-old Brazilian model Kia was suddenly plunged into despair when an acute blood infection forced her to have all her fingers and both feet amputated in a fight for her life after 3 consecutive cardiac arrests. Facing a body no longer intact, the mother of 2 from Wisconsin resolutely refused to accept her cruel fate, learning to do everything herself with prosthetic limbs and determined to return to the fashion runway as soon as she was discharged from the hospital. Through her powerful artistic photographs, she not only spread positive energy to the community, but also proves a powerful truth: disability is not about a physical defect, but only truly appears when a person surrenders to fate. In a world constantly obsessed with slim measurements, Juliana Mazzei, also known as Jules, appears as a fresh wave of rebellion and pride. The 25-year-old woman from Toronto, Canada, confidently entered the plus-size modeling industry with a very free-spirited and humorous attitude. Juliana does not hesitate to wear bold outfits, proudly showcasing her size 22 figure in front of thousands of followers and openly discussing the stereotypes surrounding fat bodies. However, Juliana's radiant confidence today was not something she was simply born with, but the result of a long journey of struggling with emotional wounds. Her past was filled with exhausting days of hiding behind oversized clothes to conceal her body and enduring harsh judgments from society. It took her a long time to realize that a woman's worth and allure are never defined by a clothing label. Now, with her bold life motto, "I have 99 problems, but being fat is never one of them," Juliana has become a powerful symbol of the body positivity movement. She uses her humor and captivating presence to break the strict boundaries of the fashion industry. Juliana wants every woman who comes across her profile to understand that no matter what size you are, you have the right to feel attractive and deserving of love. For 14 long years, Farah Khalek's life was surrounded by scleroderma, an extremely rare autoimmune condition that causes the body's soft tissues to gradually harden and tighten. The devastating disease destroyed her appearance and limited her every movement, leaving the woman from Nairobi, Kenya, trapped in long periods of darkness. At the age of 32, Farah once chose to escape reality, rejecting all cameras and isolating herself from social media because she could no longer endure the emotional pain. But a fateful turning point came after a spiritual awakening experience, which helped Farah rediscover her inner strength and learn to love her imperfect body. Instead of resenting fate, she decided to become an inspirational vlogger, using her radiant smile and positive energy to warm the online world. Despite facing many barriers when seeking in-person employment in her home country due to her limited mobility, Farah never gave up. Through her authentic videos, Farah's story has crossed the borders of Kenya and touched the hearts of millions around the world. She has proven that even if the body is trapped in physical pain, the soul can still remain a free and boundless sky. For Farah, Social media is no longer a place to display superficial perfection, but a launchpad to spread love and ignite hope for those who are struggling in the storms of life. From a young age, Laura Alma Casados Mata nurtured the dream of becoming a fashion model, despite being born with dwarfism and standing only 1.14 meters tall. Growing up in Mexico, her world fell apart when she entered high school due to cruel bullying from her peers, such as being locked in trash cans and lockers. Amid those painful wounds and humiliation, her grandmother's advice to learn how to love herself became a sacred emotional anchor that helped her overcome the storm. At the age of 15, tragedy struck again when Laura completely lost the ability to walk. She endured a harrowing period of 18 consecutive surgeries over 9 months in the United States to straighten her leg bones and fight for her life. Having survived death's door, Laura returned to her hometown with the mindset of a social activist, founding a support foundation for people with dwarfism and writing for newspapers to raise public awareness, proving that body size cannot limit human intelligence. Her passion for the runway never faded, and in 2015, Laura courageously entered a beauty pageant and caught the attention of LOA Models, a modeling agency. Becoming the only special model on the roster, she proudly used every step she took to break rigid standards of beauty. Through her journey, Laura affirmed that a woman's height is not measured by the distance from feet to head, but by the courage it takes to walk with her head held high. Born with the extremely rare TAR syndrome, a condition affecting fewer than 1 in 100,000 newborns, Colby Van Voorhis had to learn to live in a body without arm bones and completely lacking knee joints. Standing at just 1.24 meters tall, the young man from New York has always been the center of curious and pitying stares from those around him. But instead of letting biological limitations define his fate, Colby chose a rebellious lifestyle full of pride and humor. He boldly gave himself the nickname Armless Freak and stepped straight into the world of TikTok with the mindset of someone in full control of the game. Videos documenting his daily life, witty jokes, and Colby's sharp, self-deprecating humor quickly became a sensation, attracting more than 200,000 followers. He turned society's judgmental stares into material for laughter, using optimism to shatter all rigid stereotypes about people with disabilities. Nova's life took an ironic turn at the age of 12, when coarse facial hair began growing heavily on her delicate face due to polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. For years, the childhood of the girl from Virginia was filled with long days of enduring cruel mockery and the daily torment of a razor each morning. Nova hid herself in overwhelming fear, refusing to let anyone touch her face, turning her life into a suffocating game of hide-and-seek in order to appear acceptable to others. However, a liberating turning point came in November 2017 when Nova decided to take part in the No Shave November Challenge and bravely put down her razor for good. She chose to let her facial hair grow naturally proudly, revealing the body's unique traits in broad daylight. This bold change did not diminish Nova's femininity. Instead, it transformed her into a symbol of free, wild, and deeply individual beauty. Happiness became even more complete with Ash by Nova's side, her wonderful partner, who always loves and appreciates her natural face. Overcoming all of society's strict prejudices, Nova proves that attractiveness is not defined by lifeless, rigid standards. She has reached the most sacred milestone in a woman's life, proudly stepping out with her unique beard-like crown and learning to love herself fully without compromise. Growing up with a large port wine stain covering her face, Kira McCracken never thought her appearance was different until 7th grade. The scrutinizing stares and cruel taunts from her friends, some even heartlessly comparing her birthmark to a dead fetus, plunged the young girl into a mire of self-consciousness. Kira began begging her mother to let her wear makeup meticulously, using specialized tattoo concealers and airbrush paint, spending 45 minutes to an hour each day just to hide the mark of nature. For years, she lived behind a thick veil of disguise, but a turning point came in her freshman year of college thanks to the support of a wonderful group of friends who loved her unconditionally. Realizing that her true worth didn't lie in the artificial makeup, Kira bravely shed all her concealing creams and stepped out into the world with her original vibrant red birthmark. She learned to smile in the face of curious stares on the street, transforming past trauma into a profound lesson in self-respect. Now 24 Kira is happily settled with her small family, confidently setting an example for her daughter to understand the value of her unique body features. Her journey sends a heartwarming message. Self-confidence is the most magnificent armor for proudly being yourself. Does Kira's story help you love yourself more? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support us in spreading more positive energy. A horrific moped accident at the age of 12 suddenly struck, breaking the peaceful life of Chiara Bordi and taking away part of her left leg. Waking up in a hospital bed, the girl from Italy endured long days of struggling with both physical pain and the emotional collapse of adolescence. But instead of letting adversity imprison her future, Chiara made a bold decision that changed her entire destiny, opening a new chapter of her life. She refused to hide her rough medical prosthetic leg under long pants. Instead, Chiara transformed it into a work of art by decorating it with thousands of sparkling crystals as a proud statement. At 17, she courageously walked on mainstream fashion runways while also collaborating with social organizations to advocate for diversity and the rights of people with disabilities in the entertainment industry. Her crystal-covered leg, glowing under the catwalk lights, turned a physical difference into a unique personal signature. Chiara's bold presence shattered the strict conventions of traditional beauty, earning her prestigious professional modeling contracts and a place as a finalist in Miss Italy. She does not appear to seek pity. She stands there like a courageous goddess weaving her own aura from her wounds. Through Chiara's story, the world comes to understand that the greatest allure of a woman does not lie in a standardized, perfect body, but in a soul that dares to live authentically and stand proudly in the face of storms. In 2013, high school student Sierra Dawn in Washington State faced a major shock when she was diagnosed with the autoimmune condition alopecia totalis, which caused her to lose all her hair. At an age when hair is often seen as a symbol of confidence, She struggled with feelings of disorientation and fear when looking at her bald reflection in the mirror. The condition not only took away her appearance, but also pushed her into deep loneliness as she felt completely different from her peers. Self-portrait project, I'm fine. In an effort to find connections, Sierra joined an online forum, and fate brought her together with Zane, who would later become her fiancé. Unlike the pitying looks she received from others, Zane loved her with pure affection, valuing her soul and embracing every physical imperfection. His steady companionship and understanding became a strong foundation, rekindling the confidence that had once nearly. The power of love helped Sierra completely transform, allowing her confidently appear radiant on television cameras without the need for uncomfortable wigs. She proudly embraced her natural appearance as a symbol of happiness and courage. Sierra's story is a vivid testament that true love not only soothes pain, but also has the power to help a person be reborn and shine in their own unique way. Facing her past, she confidently. On a morning in 2014, the world of 17-year-old Reshma collapsed in an instant. A brutal case of mistaken jealousy by her abusive brother-in-law led to acid being mercilessly thrown onto her face, taking one of her eyes and leaving severe disfiguring scars across her youthful neck. Seeing her appearance destroyed, Reshma fell into deep despair, living through dark days filled with insecurity. However, the darkness of the crime could not extinguish the fierce will to live burning like an underground flame within the young woman. Reshma courageously stepped into the light, began writing a book about her journey, and joined campaigns advocating justice for victims of acid attacks. She turned her pain, raising her voice to awaken public awareness and push for stricter regulations on the unrestricted sale of acid. The greatest turning point came when Reshma confidently and proudly walked the runway at New York Fashion Week. To the admiration of the world, she proved that while beauty can be destroyed by external force, a kind heart and a resilient mind cannot be destroyed by any acid. Reshma redefined beauty, turning her scars into symbols of undying courage. Her strength affirmed a profound truth: no cruel force can. Born in Bremen, Germany, Marika Nagy was affected by a rare congenital condition called giant congenital melanocytic nevus. From the moment she was an infant, she underwent 7 painful skin removal surgeries in a fight to survive. Although she was fortunate to keep her life, her body was covered with large, dark, pigmented patches, making her a target of isolation throughout her school years. Deep-seated insecurity seemed capable of completely extinguishing. That sense of deadlock only truly dissolved when motherhood entered Marika's life, bringing with it an immense source of inner strength. The moment she held her baby boy in her arms and looked into his clear, trusting eyes, she realized she could no longer live by hiding in the shadows. The sacred bond of motherhood awakened her courage, helping. What would you do if life cast you into darkness and took away every path home? Surrender to fate or write a new chapter with your own hands, one filled with pride and determination. Today, join me in meeting extraordinary people, warriors who turned their imperfections into masterpieces and redefined what it truly means to be perfect. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts so we can spread this healing energy together. Let's get started right now. The life of the Indian boy, Mahendra Ahirwar, was once a long series of days experiencing the world from a painfully inverted perspective. A rare congenital muscle disorder left the muscles in his neck so weak that they could not support the weight of his head, causing it to tilt backward at a 180-degree angle toward his chest. Every daily activity, from eating and bathing to simply looking at his loved ones, was a helpless bow to the harshness of fate. The poverty of his family seemed to have shut down all hope of finding medical treatment for him. However, human kindness once again wrote a real-life fairy tale when a kind woman in the United Kingdom launched a global fundraising campaign to help Mahendra undergo spinal corrective surgery. Under the skilled hands of top surgeons, the boy's neck was gradually straightened, giving him the chance to look directly into his parents' eyes for the very first time. Although Mahendra's post-surgery journey was short due to complications, the time she spent living with her head held high and facing life honestly was the happiest chapter of her life. Mahendra's story affirms the boundless power of compassion, where strangers' hands helped lift a life that had fallen, allowing her to fully experience love before peacefully passing away. Is kindness between people the greatest miracle in life? Please comment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel in creating more meaningful videos. Some babies are placed in comfortable cradles the moment they are born, but not Kanya Sesser. At 1 week old, she lay curled up on the steps of a desolate temple in Thailand, without legs, without a word. The faint cries of that tiny being seemed to have been swept away by the wind into hopelessness. But fate took a different turn when an American family welcomed her to Oregon. Instead of giving up or choosing a life of resignation in a wheelchair, this girl saw the world through different eyes, the eyes of a warrior. Kanya chose skateboarding as her legs. Imagine a girl using her bare hands to propel a wooden board, hurtling down slopes, gliding over rough waves, or even performing spectacular somersaults at the X Games. The pinnacle of that audacity was the moment she did a handstand on a moving skateboard for nearly 20 seconds to etch her name into the Guinness World Records. She wasn't just playing a sport, she was dancing with her own adversity. Not stopping there, Kanya stepped into the world of silks and dazzling lights, the New York Fashion Week runway. Breaking all strict standards of measurements and body shape, she confidently strode on a skateboard in seductive lingerie, becoming the face of global brands. Her quote, "No legs, no limits," has now become a flame warming millions of lost souls, proving that true beauty lies not in a perfect body, but in an unbreakable will. In the glamorous world of fashion, where beauty is often measured by perfect proportions, Ellie Goldstein emerges as a ray of sunshine, shattering outdated norms. Born with Down syndrome and undergoing heart surgery at just 5 months old, she received alarming diagnoses from doctors. Yet this petite girl never surrendered to fate. With her radiant smile and pure confidence, Ellie astonished the world as she walked into the hallowed halls of luxury brands. Ellie's journey is a quiet revolution, fueled by her gaze and confidence. Appearing in Gucci Beauty's global campaign, she proves that difference is a unique gift. Her genetic imperfections are no longer visible, but rather the vibrant energy of a free spirit dancing. Each of her images opens a door of hope, igniting dreams for countless children with special needs. The momentous turning point came when Ellie became the first model with Down syndrome to grace the cover of the prestigious British Vogue magazine. Her face proudly stood alongside the world's top supermodels. This wasn't a charitable favor, but a recognition of true talent. She became a new fashion icon, shattering the rigid boundaries of the international fashion world to prove that genuine beauty knows no stereotypes. Not content with just walking the catwalk, Ellie continued to dominate the spotlight in various artistic fields. She made history by participating in the prestigious BBC dance competition, Strictly Come Dancing, her freestyle dance moves touching the hearts of millions. She also ventured into film with her role as Nancy Maher in the series Mallory Towers, earning her a nomination for the prestigious Emmy Award for Children and Families. Behind the glamour, Ellie uses her fame as a beacon of hope for the disability community, as an ambassador for MenCap. Through her meaningful autobiography and self-written picture books, she conveys a powerful message encouraging young people to bravely overcome social prejudices, to pursue their dreams. She wants every child to wake up knowing that they have the right to be proud of themselves and deserve to be loved. In her 20s, Ellie bought her own house with the money she earned from her hard work and passion. Her story reminds us that starting points may be marked by limitations, but the ending must be a triumph created by yourself. Ellie continues to bloom brightly because she bravely embraced her uniqueness to become a one-of-a-kind version of herself. Do you believe that effort fueled by passion can erase all limitations and starting points? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and help us create more meaningful videos. Some journeys do not begin with feet, but with the synchronized heartbeat of two lives moving as one. When Rick Hoyt was born, his world was confined within an immobile body due to congenital cerebral palsy. He could not speak or walk. Doctors once advised his family to place him in a care facility, believing he would live his life in a vegetative state. But they underestimated the love of his father, Dick Hoyt. A turning point came when Rick was 15 and used a computer to tell his father that when he ran with him, he no longer felt disabled. From that fateful day onward, the great father began an unprecedented journey, pushing his son's wheelchair through more than 1,000 athletic events, from marathons to the grueling Ironman competitions. Imagine a middle-aged man swimming while towing his son in a raft, cycling with him, seated in front, and then finishing by pushing the wheelchair to the finish line under the scorching sun. Along that road, filled with sweat and tears, Rick was no longer on the sidelines of life. He became the engine, the very soul that drove his father forward. Rick Hoyt's story is not merely about a person with a disability overcoming fate, but an immortal anthem of deep father-son love. Together they showed the world that the only true limits of human beings exist within the mind. When there is a purpose large enough and love deep enough, even a disabled body can become a free bird, soaring through life's storms to reach glory. Their journey stands as a testament to the infinite power of compassion, turning what once seemed impossible into a great miracle that moves millions of hearts. If life is a turbulent river filled with rapids, Jessica Long is the one who tamed it with unshakable willpower. Born in a poor village in Siberia with a rare condition that left her without fibula bones in her legs, she was abandoned by her biological parents at birth. At just 18 months old, after being adopted by an American family, Jessica underwent a grueling surgery in which both of her legs were amputated below the knees in order to be fitted with prosthetics. For a child, losing her legs meant being stripped of the ability to run, play, and belong. But fate chose her to be a warrior, with her battlefield becoming the blue waters of a swimming pool. In that water, her heavy prosthetic legs were left on the shore, and Jessica found absolute freedom. With almost obsessive determination, she learned to balance stroke her arms and propel herself forward, using the strength of her remaining body moving like an arrow through the water. The bone-deep pain after each training session did not make her step back. Instead, it ignited an even stronger desire to win. As a result, this petite young woman stunned the world by becoming one of the greatest Paralympic swimmers in history, earning dozens of gold medals. Jessica Long does not need fully healthy legs to stand at the peak of glory because she has learned to fly on the wings of sheer determination. Her story is a powerful reminder that a starting point can be a tragedy, but the ending has every right to become a triumph. Through extraordinary effort, she proves that the line between limitation and miracle is defined by the decision never to give up. Stop complaining about what fate has taken away and start mastering what you still have in order to write your own legendary story. In a world where people rush about on their healthy legs, Jordan Milroy chose a path of his own, one that was both proud and different. Born with cerebral palsy, Jordan's life was plagued from the beginning by painful muscle spasms, making movement and communication extreme daily challenges. Doctors once thought he would be confined to the four walls of a sterile room. Yet hidden behind that unresponsive body was an iron will burning with the desire to conquer the world. Instead of accepting a life of complacency and succumbing to physical limitations, Jordan set his sights on towering heights. He didn't choose expensive shoes or high-tech prosthetics. He chose to confront fate head-on with his bare hands. He began his journey challenging the vertical ladder by crawling. It was a crazy decision in the eyes of many, but it was a declaration of freedom from a soul that never accepted limits. Jordan's greatest challenge and the pinnacle that cemented his legend was conquering the Sky Tower in New Zealand. Throughout the long climb to the top, while others ascended in elevators in just a few seconds, Jordan's world was a life-or-death battle that lasted for hours. He gripped the cold metal steps with his hands, using all the strength in his shoulders to drag his cramped legs forward. Each step he climbed was soaked with sweat and left calluses bleeding from his wounds. The relentless, agonizing muscle spasms threatened to break the young man's resolve, but his eyes never wavered. He wasn't climbing for personal fame, nor did he seek fleeting applause. With each step Jordan took, he brought in valuable charitable funds. He transformed his pain into positive energy, igniting hope and opening up opportunities for treatment for countless other underprivileged children with disabilities. Jordan Milroy's story is like a wake-up call, gentle yet powerful, piercing the minds of those struggling with challenges. He reminds us that the biggest obstacle to success is not physical disabilities, but the fear in our hearts. Be brave enough to walk or even crawl forward, because as long as you don't give up, every peak in life can be conquered at your feet. Jordan Milroy's story is a wake-up call, striking directly at the minds of those struggling with challenges. He reminds us that the biggest obstacle to success is not physical disability, but fear in our hearts. Be brave and move forward or even crawl, because as long as you don't give up, all heights can be conquered. Do you think fear is the biggest obstacle for humankind? Comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and help us create more meaningful videos. Between the life and death line of bombs in Iraq, Emmanuel Kelly and his brother were discovered crying inside a dirty cardboard box in the middle of a brutal war zone. Exposure to chemical agents had taken away Emmanuel's healthy body, leaving him with severely deformed arms and legs from birth. Abandoned and without family, the two children seemed destined to end their lives in oblivion. But life smiled upon them when an Australian woman appeared, embraced the two brothers, and brought them to a new horizon. In his new land, Emmanuel could not run or play like other children, but nature compensated him with a priceless gift, a voice capable of healing. When he stood on the grand stage of a music competition, the young man with a limping gait and twisted arms made the entire hall fall silent. But as soon as the first notes rang out, all doubt dissolved, replaced by tears of overwhelming emotion. Emmanuel's voice was not just music, it was the voice of a soul that had survived storms and emerged stronger. Emmanuel Kelly proves that bombs can destroy flesh, but they can never destroy a person's dreams. He does not need perfect legs to stand firm because his soaring voice has reached millions of hearts across the planet. His story carries a profound message. Even if you begin life in a torn cardboard box, you still have the right to weave a brightly colored future. Through his extraordinary journey, he continues to inspire strength in those who are struggling against life's hardships. Some turning points in life happen in a single instant, yet their shock waves last a lifetime. For female soldier Melissa Stockwell, that moment came in 2004 in Iraq, when an improvised explosive device detonated near her patrol vehicle. When she regained consciousness, she was forced to confront the brutal truth that part of her left leg had been left behind on the battlefield. In her early 20s, full of ambition, losing a limb was a shock that could have broken anyone. She became the first female American soldier to lose a limb in that war. But the soldier's blood within Melissa would not allow her to fall. Instead of drowning in tears of regret for the past, she chose to look toward the future with a prosthetic metal leg. Melissa threw herself into athletic training with the spirit of a warrior going into battle. She chose swimming, and the triathlon, one of the most demanding tests of endurance. In the early days, her prosthetic leg rubbed against her skin until it bled, and the pain was relentless, but it was all eventually overcome by her resilient smile. Just a few years later, she proudly stepped onto the Paralympic stage and brought home a Medal of Glory. Melissa Stockwell completely redefined the meaning of loss. She did not see the loss of her leg as an ending, but as a proud new chapter in her life story. Each time she stood on the podium and watched her national flag wave, people did not see a wounded veteran, but an enduring symbol of courage. Through her extraordinary journey, she delivered a powerful message that physical wounds cannot stop a spirit from shining, inspiring determination to overcome every adversity in life. If life were to take both your legs from the hip, would you choose to spend your entire life in a wheelchair or climb the highest mountain in Africa? Spencer West chose the second option, one that would make even able-bodied people hesitate. Due to a congenital spinal condition, Spencer had both of his legs amputated from the hip at the age of 5. Doctors at the time gave him a bleak prognosis, saying he would never even be able to sit upright, let alone live independently. But Spencer spent his life proving the medical experts completely wrong. Without legs, Spencer turned his arms into his most resilient means of movement. He learned how to get around work and refuse all forms of pity from those around him. The peak of his journey in defying limits was his decision to conquer Mount Kilimanjaro, the roof of Africa, at nearly 6,000 meters. During the long expedition, when the wheelchair could no longer move across rough, rocky terrain, Spencer got out and continued forward on his bare hands. Each step forward left his hands bleeding, his shoulders burning with pain, but his eyes never left the mist-covered summit. When Spencer reached the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro to the cheers of his teammates, he delivered a powerful message to the world: nothing is impossible if you dare to believe in yourself. He did not need legs to stand at the highest point because his willpower lifted him above everything else. Spencer West's story is a strong wake-up call to those who live in comfort and acceptance, reminding us that the only true limits are the ones we set for ourselves. In a society often obsessed with the achievements of extraordinary geniuses, Chris Nikich's story is a simple yet remarkable anthem built on the philosophy of becoming 1% better every day. Born with Down syndrome and having undergone a life-threatening open-heart surgery at just 5 months old, Chris's future was once predicted with a sense of hopelessness. He faced significant challenges with balanced social communication and a muscular system that remained physically weak. Yet his father planted a life-changing belief in his mind that he only needed to be better than he was yesterday. From that simple philosophy of gradual improvement, an unimaginable journey of training began. Chris threw himself into triathlon competition, a challenge considered overwhelming even for some of the healthiest athletes. Through thousands of long days of training, despite countless falls from his bike-scraped skin and painful muscle cramps, he continued moving forward with patience and determination. Then, in 2020, the world watched in awe as the 21-year-old crossed the finish line of the legendary Ironman race after more than 16 grueling hours of swimming, cycling, and running without giving up. The moment Chris touched the finish line and broke down in his father's arms was more than a sporting victory. It became a historic milestone that shattered social stereotypes. He showed millions of families with children who have disabilities that the line between the impossible and the possible is often bridged by perseverance and determination. Chris Nikich's inspiring story is a gentle reminder that you do not need a perfect starting point to achieve extraordinary things. As long as you refuse to stop moving forward, every step you take has the power to change the world. Imagine being at the peak of a modeling career only to wake up one day and find your body completely devastated by a tampon. This was the real-life tragedy of supermodel Lauren Wasser in 2012 when she developed a devastating case of toxic shock syndrome. High fever, organ failure, and necrosis forced doctors to amputate her right leg in order to save her life. A few years later, her remaining leg suffered the same grim fate, turning a fashion beauty icon into a double amputee. The physical pain was nothing compared to the emotional collapse Lauren endured when she once considered giving up on life. However, her warrior instinct did not allow her to remain in despair. Lauren chose to rise again on a pair of striking golden prosthetic legs that shone with defiance and pride. She brought those extraordinary legs back to the runways of the world's biggest fashion weeks, transforming a medical device into a powerful piece of jewelry and a symbol of fierce rebirth. Lauren Wasser did not only save her own life, she also used her platform to help protect the lives of millions of other women. She became a powerful social activist, fighting to force corporations to be transparent about the chemical ingredients in menstrual hygiene products. Every powerful step she takes on the runway with her golden prosthetic legs serves as a stark reminder that tragedy may take part of your body, but it can never touch the fire of resilience burning within your soul. Arthur Boorman's story did not begin with a congenital condition, but with accumulated injuries after years of serving in the United States military. Returning from war with severely damaged knees and spine, doctors placed a fateful verdict on his life, telling him he would never be able to walk again. For 15 long years, Arthur accepted that harsh reality. He gained massive weight, wore a bulky back brace, and moved entirely with crutches, or a wheelchair, living a life that slowly wore him down. But life always rewards those who dare to question their limits. At the age of 47, Arthur found a special yoga instructor, the only person who believed he could change. The early days were pure agony as his overweight body collapsed to the floor. His muscles screamed in pain, and every breath came out in exhaustion. Many people advised him to quit believing it was impossible for a disabled veteran to recover. But Arthur persisted, falling again and again, then crawling back up, training relentlessly every single day. Michelle Kish entered this world with Hallermann-Streiff syndrome, an extremely rare genetic mutation that affects her overall stature, facial bone structure, and cardiopulmonary function. Even into adulthood, Michelle maintains a childlike small frame and requires continuous support from a ventilator along with other medical devices every day to sustain her life. Each passing day is not only a physical challenge, but also a persistent struggle to secure every peaceful breath. Rather than letting severe physical limitations define or confine her life, Michelle has courageously chosen to turn her life into a diary filled with laughter and meaningful experiences. The young woman has sharp intelligence, a charming sense of humor, and a rare confidence whenever she appears in front of the media. Michelle especially enjoys makeup, is passionate about her education, and continues to nurture her dream of becoming a pediatrician so she can understand and help children with special circumstances like her own. Looking into Michelle's eyes brimming with joy, one realizes that her physical disability has never crushed the resilient spirit within her. Michelle breaks all conventional norms, proving a profound truth. A fulfilling life isn't about a flawless body, but about a heart that's always open to loving and cherishing every moment. Do you think an optimistic heart can heal all physical pain? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and help us create more meaningful videos. Imagine a world where you have no hands to write, to drive, or to shake someone's hand. Richie Parker was born with a rare condition in which he had no arms at all from birth. When doctors saw the newborn, they sighed with concern, and society assumed he would become a lifelong burden. But Richie's parents refused to raise him in pity. Instead, they encouraged him to do everything on his own, from using his feet to eat and brush his teeth, to opening doors, turning his feet into remarkably dexterous second hands. With relentless determination, Richie not only learned to live independently like anyone else, but also nurtured a burning passion for high-speed machinery. He committed himself to mechanical engineering, overcoming thousands of doubts and expectations to become a chassis design engineer for Hendrick Motorsports, one of the most prestigious teams in NASCAR racing. The image of him sitting in front of a computer, using his toes to type rapidly and control a mouse while designing aerodynamic race cars, has become a powerful symbol of extraordinary intelligence and resilience. To achieve full independence, Richie even designed a customized driving system for his personal car, allowing him to use his left foot for acceleration and his right foot to operate a specially adapted steering mechanism, enabling him to confidently drive himself to work every day. Richie Parker's story is like a refreshing wave that cuts through excuses and complacency. He proved a profound truth: when you stop complaining about what you lack, the world naturally begins to open up unimaginable paths built from what you already have. The journeys of the extraordinary individuals we have just explored are living proof that adversity may break parts of the body, but it will always be powerful.